versus a Frostburn Weird, right? Azorius Arrestor says, you just slow down a little bit there, Frostburn Weird, and Guinea Apparition battles. And once again, we see Fairy Imposter come down and pick up the Azorius Arrestor.
Fairy Imposter, a card that a lot of players won't even look at.
Mm-hmm.
Shuei's been making great use of it.
Yeah, and now it's not only rebuying the effect of the arrest, it's also now a 2/1 flyer in the air that's going to start beating down.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what Lucas has in plan here. He cannot attack with the Frostburn Weird. It is currently detained. I see another Frostburn Weird. Looks like he's going to take his time here, make sure that he finds the right play. All right, it is indeed the Frostburn Weird, and he just simply passes the turn back.
So Shuhei attacks in for 2, knocks Lucas down to 16. Plays a fencing ace.
Okay, a fencing ace is okay. It doesn't look particularly good on this board, facing down 2 Frostburn Weirds.
But Lucas doesn't want to make any big. He doesn't want to make any big attacks here. He knows that Shuhei has an Azorius Arrestor in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable to that.
He doesn't want to take a hit for 6 right now.
It looks like the Goblin Electromancer is going to resolve, and it's an inaction injunction that's only going to cost just 1 mana here. He draws a card, and he's got a mountain. Is that another mountain? What is that last card in his hand?
I think it's a Splattersug.
Okay.
Doesn't even attack. Just doesn't want to take a big hit because of Azorius Arrestor.
That's right. Now that's going to make sure, though, that the Fairy Imposter is still able to attack at will here.
Well, not right now because of an action injunction, but
right.
moving forward,
that's going to be the key card.
2 points a turn. Lucas, the deck is pretty fast, but right now he still needs to figure out a way to actually punch through those first points of damage.
That's right. All right.
Leave Valor on the fencing ace.
Wow, that's a big fencing ace. It's now a 3/3 double strike. It also happens to have vigilance here, and Shuhei just jams it into the red zone there. Lucas is deciding what he wants to do.
So does Lucas have any blocks? If he triple blocks,
then that
Shuhei
actually that
first strike apply.
He can apply first strike to
2 points to a Electromancer.
That will kill it.
And 1 point to a Frostburn Weird.
But doesn't that mean that Lucas can then just pump the other Frostburn Weird by 1, and that would be 3 damage?
So if Lucas just double blocks.
Triple blocks, you mean, right?
Or if he double blocks. So Shuhei applies 3 damage to one of them with first strike damage. And Lucas pumps the other. So
and they're just going to trade. Wow, that was interesting. I didn't think that that's how that was going to go. And I don't know that Shuhei did either. Did you see a little hesitation there? Or do you think he was fine just trading that off like that?
I'm not. I think that Shuhei thought that he was going to get a better deal there.
It kind of felt like that when he first cast it, but as we sort of broke it down and as Lucas did it along with us, we started to realize it was actually just a trade straight up. Now, still not too bad. He got rid of one of the Frostburn Weirds, and he's left with a Knight behind, but the other Frostburn Weird's going to block that Knight.
Well, he has Shuhei has Azorius Arrestor in his hand. He can use that to maybe get himself a better attack a little bit later.
Splatter Thug, and it looks like he is going to go ahead and unleash the thing.
Okay.
He does have attacks with it. All right, put a dice on that. It's a 1/1 counter. Here comes the Azorius Arrestor, I'm assuming. It is indeed.
Lock down the Frostburn Weird for a turn.
And
Shuhei attacks with everything.
And one Goblin Electromancer gets in the way of the token. And it's a new Prof Guildmage to follow things up. So Shuhei is gradually pushing his agenda forward. He's got Yukovsky back on 12. But Yukovsky is now starting to attack. Lucas says, all right, you're going to take 3 here. And it looks like he's going to have some pretty decent attacks now. The new Prof Guildmage can start detaining things if that becomes necessary.
Detaining things or
another
things
Frostburn Weird? He has 3 of them?
Shuhei can just give 2 of his creatures flying right here.
And it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. He's just going to give one of them flying.
Okay, knocks Lucas down to 8. if Shuhei has another blue land, then he'll be able to attack for lethal next turn.
He has Dispel and Downsize in his hand. So he is very well suited to race here.
Yeah.
If Yuklowski makes some huge move, then Shuhei can downsize, and if he doesn't, and he tries to go for a removal spell, like maybe on his Fairy Imposter
Shuhei
or
saying,
something.
I'll just take it.
Yeah. Take 5. Shuhei drops to 12, and ooh, Chaos Imps for Yukis Yuklowski. So is he going to...
Shuhei's got to spend some time detaining that unless he has something
That's
very
right.
good.
And he can't detain it and give a creature flying
No,
currently.
so then he's back down to getting in for 2 a turn. With
That's
the
right. He also, I'm sure, would like to leave some mana up here for a Dispel.
But he has to detain that Chaos Imp, right?
Or
Oh,
does
but
he?
does not.
And he is going to battle with everybody.
Lucas falls to 4.
All right, that was a big turnaround,
Lucas's
big
only
tempo play.
Here is the Chaos Imps. He's going to die on the next attack.
No.
That Void Wielder was huge for Shuhei.
Void Wielder, of course, also blocking the Splatter Thug if necessary, which is pretty nice for Shuhei.
A tremendous swing. So
Card is sweet.
Lucas got off to kind of a slow start this game. Backpedaling, Shuhei was finding these ways to slash through for damage. Now, Shuhei's pretty close to finishing off the job, in large part thanks to his new Prof Guildmage. Lucas attacks with his Splatter Thug. Shuhei just blocks it with Void Wielder.
All right, so Lucas is thinking.
He lets the combat resolve. Tap 6, plays his Chaos Imps.
Again, he does not unleash here. He wants to be able to block.
Shuhei detains the Chaos Imps, and is he going to attack with everything? Or all of his 2-power creatures? Leaves himself
It is enough for
a little bit
lethal.
vulnerable to something like an Electrickery, but
Yeah, or maybe an Is It Charm.
sure. But
And
Lucas
that
doesn't
is,
have
in
it.
fact, enough. Shuhei's attacks all in, and he is now up a game in the finals of his 20th Grand Prix Top 8. This one being the biggest in North American history.
Yeah.
The biggest Magic tournament, period. And we take a look at the bracket and how these players got here. So down on the lower left, you see Shuhei Nakamura with his Azorius deck. He defeated Luis Scott Vargas with a pretty sweet Azorius deck of his own. Then he defeated Martin Yuza with a ridiculous aggro deck. If you follow Martin on Twitter, you can see a picture of his deck that he put up there. That put him in the finals. Looking at the other side, we have Lucas Yuklowski. He has his Is It aggro deck, which he used to beat Harry Corvasian as 4-color green. And we just caught the very end of him beating Greg Smith of the East-West Draftcast podcast there with his Celestia Splash Black deck
Shuhei
to put him in the finals against Shuhei.
won the very last individual Grand Prix. He played. Grand Prix Costa Rica.
And that was in Costa Rica, and he outright won that. And I will note as well that Shuhei, that was an absolutely stacked up top 8 as well.
Yeah.
We had 5 platinum players in this top 8. It was a very, very, very tough 8. And like I said, I mean, just looking at it, Shuhei had to beat Luis Scott Vargas and Martin Yuza just to make it to this point in the finals. He's playing against another platinum player, Lucas Yuklowski. So we're talking about some pretty tough competition, yet Shuhei finds himself up 1-0.
Just one game away from winning back-to-back Grand Prix.
Yeah, the last 2 individual Grand Prix that he played, we did have a team event in between, but we're talking about individual ones here. Also, it would be pretty sweet to say that you won the biggest one ever in North America.
Yeah. third biggest tournament of all time.
Saw a tweet from Martin Yuzi. He said he's pretty happy whoever wins anyway. He's really, really good friends with Shuhei, and Lucas is from the same country he is, so he's buddies with him too.
They've played together a bunch, worked together for events.
Now, let's see if Lucas's deck can get off to a quicker start this time. He had, again, it's interesting that Shuhei has been able to keep even more aggressive decks pinned down pretty effectively with his Azorius deck.
Azorius Arrestor is a card that gets so much better the faster your opponent's deck is.
Ah,
if
right.
you're playing against
That's a good point.
lower deck, and you have it in your opening hand, that's your only 2-drop, you're not getting that much. You're just playing it. It's a 2-1.
Uh-huh.
It's not that big of a deal. If your opponent has a 3/2 unleash creature or a 2/1 of their own or fencing ace or any sort of thing like that, then suddenly you're also buying yourself a good amount of time. You're saving yourself 2 points of damage. You might be hitting in for an extra 2 points in there as well.
See some funny tweets coming in about the conversation that's happening over there. You might have noticed from our camera shot on on Shuhei that Yuya is sitting behind him. And they're having some fun banter there as they're getting ready to suit up here for game 2. It could be the last game of this very big, very long GP.
So a little bit of a background shot. There was nobody else.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny scene. I might take a picture and put it up on Twitter after we're done recording of what this hall looks like. It is barren. Everybody's out of here for the hurricane, and sure enough, here we are. Lucas Yakovsky, he is going to lead off with another Frostburn Weird. Shuhei Nakamura is going to hit his second land, and he's going to play Keening Apparition. Pretty unexciting here. I see a Splatter Thug in Yakovsky, but
stuck on 2
I
lands?
think he might be. I think he's digging for a mountain here.
He found an island.
He did find an island. He's going to pump his guy and attack.
I see he's got a lot of red cards in his hand. Is he even going to have a follow-up play next turn?
Oh man, this could be Shuhei's chance to really pounce. If he can advance his board state, put up a bunch of pressure, and then maybe get some arrests going on, he might be able to put this thing away before Yakovsky can find a red source. All right, he says, yeah, arrest that guy.
And Yakovsky finds a red source.
He drew a mountain?
He drew a mountain. But he
Okay, so, yes, he did. So we're going to have a game here. What does he have in his hand? Is it a Nivix Guild Mage?
has a lot of options. He's got an Izzet Charm, a Splatter Thug, a
Yep.
Nivix Guild Mage.
All right, let's take a look at what he wants to do here. It looks like he's going to say Splatter Thug and just say go. He's got a 3/3 first strike now. It has very good attacks for what he's seen. And that just went away. There's an Armory Guard now. Now, he can still attack into it because he does have that Izzet Charm in hand.
Now, he also has his Nivix Guild Mage, so he might want to save that Izzet Charm until he can get multiple uses out of it.
You mean he might want to copy it?
Yeah.
Lucas is carefully surveying the scene here and deciding how he wants to proceed. While
Is that a
Shuhei patiently
Hypersonic
waits.
Dragon in his hand? I think it might be.
I know he has one in his deck. We saw it in the last round. That one was carrying a Pursuit of Flight as well. All right, looks like he just wants to play his Nivix Guild Mage, and he's just going to say go. All right, so things have stabilized a bit here in Game 2. Shuhei Nakamura is up a game in the finals here at Grand Prix Philadelphia.
attacks in with his Armory Guard, which has Vigilance. Lucas just blocks with Frostburn Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Shuhei passes the turn.
More red cards. Still no more land, so he's pretty restricted, it looks like, to casting about one spell per turn here.
That is a Hypersonic Dragon.
It
in
is
his
indeed,
hand.
yep.
And Lucas probably going to want to just use his Nivix Guild Mage to try to draw into a 5th land. at
Now,
this
would you
point.
have considered using it then so you can actually hit that land drop, or do you want to represent other things and ship it back, or keep your...
He has the Izzet Charm.
Izzet
I can
Charm
see
up.
waiting to leave it up.
I mean, because you definitely want to hit land drops when you can, right? Or he's drawn another Splatter Thug here.
I think he already knows what he wants to play next turn.
Is that a Goblin Rally he just
It
got rid
is.
of? Okay. Draws a card. It looks like an
That was
island.
Land number 5.
All right, so now we have a play here. Pretty good one.
Yeah.
Only 1 mana up for Shuhei, so there's really nothing that can get in the way here. He's just got the 1 flying blocker currently.
Checks how many cards are in Shuhei's hand. Wants to.
So you think he's just going to slam the Hypersonic Dragon and just start beating down here?
I'd be surprised if he did anything but that.
Yeah,
And that's what.
Because remember, he's got the Izzet Charm in hand, so even if Shuhei goes for some double block, he can deal with it.
No, but once he gets to 6 mana,
Mhm.
including 2 red, he's going to be able to copy the Izzet Charm with his Nivix Guild Mage.
And maybe take out 2 creatures.
Yeah, so Shuhei's in a really tough spot here.
Now, I
Dr.
think Shuhei has a Dispel in his hand, so he might be able to have something to say about that, but we'll have to see.
That would only counter one of them. Right? Now Shuhei trying to figure out if he has any sort of good attack back. And yeah, he's going to attack with a lot. Attack with everything but his 2/1 Azorius Arrestor.
Wow, he's just battling here. Lucas only has 2 creatures on board that can actually block. He cannot pump his Frostburn Weird at all. So he doesn't want to throw away his Arrestor because it can't get in. The Armory Guard has Vigilance, so it's just standing there, and yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, takes 6, so Yukis Lukavi actually takes a big hit here. Goes down to
On
12. And another Armory Guard for Shuhei as he passes the turn back.
Will Lucas find another mountain?
Well,
Not
wasn't a mountain
quite.
exactly, but it was a red mana source. And is it Guildgate off the top for Lucas? And he's going to be able to play that this turn, not use it until next. He's got to plan out what he wants to do now.
So
Apparently, again, we see Shuhei playing very aggressively, looking just to race.
right now, Lucas's land comes into play tapped, so he's not going to be able to play the Izzet Charm and copy it this turn.
That's right. So,
But he
Okay.
will be able to do that next turn.
uh-huh. So how important is it for him, do you think, to leave up that Izzet Charm as he passes the turn back? Because, he could play a Splatter Thug. I don't know if it really helps out a ton, but he could play one.
Splatter Thug is not particularly effective on offense or defense here when Shuhei has 2 Armory Guards and a Guild Gate.
All right, he looks like he wants to attack with that dragon, but he's still thinking. He plays the Guildgate first, and it looks like he is going to play a Splatter Thug here.
Does?
Yep, and he's just going to pass the turn
Doesn't
back.
even attack with the Hypersonic Dragon.
Yeah, so it looks like
Okay.
he's realized that Shuhei means business here with the race, and that he might not actually be in a position to win it. So he's just going to pass back. The Hypersonic Dragon should be able to keep back the 2 flyers that Shuhei has, and the Splatter Thug on the ground is going to keep back the Keening Apparition as well. So it really does limit the attacks that Shuhei has. So let's see what Shuhei wants to do.
Oh, Tristani's
He's going to
Judgment.
Tristani's Judgment away the Hypersonic Dragon, and he is going to battle for what's looking like quite a bit of damage here. Now, is there any reason why is he just attacking with those because he can? Like, because Lucas.
Lucas can only block one of them.
Oh, right. Lucas can only block one profitably because the Splatter Thug and the Nivix Guild Mage are small, so he's attacking, so he can get in for 2 damage extra. It looks like Lucas is going to fall down to 6 here.
Wow.
Man, and
Lucas
Shuhei is in a great position, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, suddenly all changed. But Lucas can cast his Izzet Guild Mage and copy it, killing off both of Shuhei's flyers right here.
His Is It charm, right?
Or is it charm? Yes.
Uh-huh. Now, Shuhei's completely tapped out, so if he wants to do it, he should do it right now.
He has to do that.
Copy
That's
it
the only way to
and do
kill
it.
the Tower Drake.
Right. So he does, in fact, do that, and all of a sudden his board looks a bit better, although Shuhei still does have attacks with the Armory Guards, although maybe Lucas throws away one of the splatter thug
There's
here.
If Shuhei has any sort of trick, if he has a downsize in his hand,
Uh-huh.
then he can attack with everything. Which I
Right, Shuhei is poised to attack here, and
Yeah.
it looks like he is going to attack with everything here. He's putting Lucas to the test. I see that for sure Shuhei has a Dispel in his hand. And he is just battling with the team here. I believe that's a second Goblin Rally I see in Lucas's hand. That's not going to do anything here. And he says, block, block.
yeah, well, the Goblin Rally can give himself decent amount of time if he survives.
Yeah, if
That
he gets
is
to
a
untap, but it
downsize.
is a downsize. It is going to be overloaded. And what that means is the Splatter Thug dies, and Lucas drops to 2 life here.
So now
He only has 2 creatures that
Oh,
can block,
jeez.
and we see the Fairy Imposter come down. We might be on the verge of Shuhei Nakamura winning the GP in his 20th top 8.
We see Lucas has a Rune Wing in his hand.
He says he's going to loot. And he looks at it and he extends the hand, and Shuhei Nakamura is our champion.
Back-to-back individual Grand Prix champion, Shuhei Nakamura.
Yeah, so he
On
looks
his
over over at
20th.
Yu and says, "Yeah, I can do back-to-back too."
Yeah. Shuhei, you have just been totally on top of their games recently.
Yeah, absolutely dominating everything in organized tournament magic here. And we've got a quick look here at the top 8 bracket.